What is up, everybody? It's your man's Ken Jackson. Welcome to the show tonight. So, I'm sure you all know by now, uh, Lindsey Graham is dead. Uh, uh, they say he passed just a few hours after returning from a trip to Ukraine. And his office has released a preliminary cause of death. They said his sudden passing was caused by a heart issue, and that's based on a preliminary examination by the District of Columbia's medical examiner. It's caused by what they call an aortic dissection due to arteriosclerotic cardiovascular disease. And that's it. I can relate to that because that's the same heart condition I have myself. And, so I'm always, concerned about suddenly passing. But I stay up to date with my cardiologist and, try to stay as healthy as I can. I eat right, uh, you know, exercise, but not too much because my cardiologist says, I don't want to push it, too tough, so I don't. But in any case, sad day in politics, for the Republicans. Personally, you know, I'm not going to say that I'm going to miss him because I won't. We know he was a staunch anti-Trumpist a few years ago, and he became probably the most staunch supporter of Trump later after such a long political career being a hawk, and being for the right thing. Suddenly he went haywire and joined the Trump cult, and there you have it, Just goes to prove that, people change, So as I said, I'm not gonna be one of those that misses him, but at the same time, I never wish death on anybody before their time. You know what I'm saying? So hey, we're all gonna go when it's our time. There's no such thing as the perfect timing or the right time or the wrong time for that matter. When we go, obviously our clock is run out. So farewell to Lindsey Graham. I am curious to see who the Republicans are going to put in to replace his seat in the Senate. I also heard that I haven't seen the pictures yet that Mitch McConnell is alive. Apparently, there was a photo released of him with his wife, and I don't know. I don't know if it's a real photo, or if it was AI, or because last I heard, his wife was in China, and nobody's seen Mitch McConnell for at least a month now since he was apparently rushed to the hospital after being found unconscious in his home in D.C. So I don't know. But in any case, here we are. Welcome to the Ken Jackson Experience on a Sunday night. Got started a few minutes late tonight, but it's okay. We're here. We're set up in our new studio facility. I'm really loving the vibe. It's very comfortable, spacious, and, we're looking forward to a lot of late night broadcasts and, all day commentary, and so forth and so on. We're going to grow this network finally. So if any of you out there have show ideas, if you'd like to start your own show, it's one of the things that I do is I assist small businesses and content creators in building their own channels. But we do offer some broadcast opportunities here at Crazy Baby TV World Network. So get at me, inbox me. We would definitely love to hear from you, and let's do some work. All right. So anyway, as I said before, I'm your host, Ken Jackson. Welcome to the show. There are so many things we could talk about. The politics. I see a lot of religious conversations going on, especially lately. A lot of questioning on whether God exists, or is God just a man-made fantasy, or is the world going to end tomorrow? I've seen it all in the past few weeks, and sometimes I ask myself those same questions. As many of you may know, I am no fan of organized religion whatsoever. I believe that the Bible is just a string of plagiarized stories from much older written texts, cuneiforms, Sumerian writings, and so forth and so on. So, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't proclaim to be any expert. So whatever you believe is what you believe. You know what I mean? And I don't knock anybody for their belief system. Everybody believes in something, I think. Then there are those who don't believe in anything. I'm one of those, prove it to me. Let's see what the evidence is. If there's archaeological evidence or forensic evidence, any type of, written, documentation, or, I need to see it for myself or hear it for myself. I'm just not going to go off of, some ancient writings in which no one knows who the author was, or, and there's no archaeological evidence to prove that these events even happened, so, hey, show me, prove it, you know what I'm saying? But again, I don't knock your belief system. You believe what you're going to believe, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you through the day is okay with me. Never let anybody convince you that Ken said your religion is fucked up or whatever you believe is fucked up, because never that. I grew up in a hyper-religious atmosphere, in which even as a child I was like, nah, this shit ain't making no sense. You know what I mean? And then as I grew older, as I, became more understanding of certain things, based on the research that I've done, I formed my own thoughts and beliefs in God and creation and the universe and all things of that nature. So, hey, don't knock me for what I believe. I won't knock you for what you believe. I will question. I will definitely ask questions. I ask questions of the stuff that I believe in. I want to know. But I think there are some answers that we will, or there's some questions that I think we will never know the answers to. Because I don't think it's for us to know. We're all a part of the same universe, made out of the same elements, the same basic elements that makes us is what makes everything else in the universe, as far as we know. So, who am I, to, you know, say what it is and what it's not? We have science, and, as far as I know, science is pretty accurate, based on, you know, the evidence that they find and the things that they study and analyze and such. So um, I don't claim to understand it all because I don't. But you know what? I don't wish to understand it all. Honestly, I don't really care. We're here. I'm grateful, to have this experience of being alive, because think about this. Everybody who could possibly live will never live. Of all of the people that could possibly exist, most will never exist. Plain and simple. Or at least not in this solar system, on this planet Earth. And as far as I know, we're not going to be able to leave this planet Earth to live anywhere else anytime soon. Granted, we got a lot of these billionaires out here trying to get to the moon and get to Mars and all of that shit. But as far as we know, this is the only place where something lives. And this is the only place that something can live based on our knowledge, our humanly knowledge. So we got to take care of home first, in my opinion. We got to make sure we get it right and that we don't blow this place up. And we're already damaging the planet, the environment, and who knows? Is it already too late? Is it already beyond repair? I don't know. But there's a lot of you clowns out there that don't believe that human activity, can destroy the ecosystem. I don't know how it is that you think that we cannot. But based on the science, we're headed nowhere real fast right now. The Republicans deregulating industries and allowing them to dump their chemicals and all types of other bullshit, into our water and into our air. These are things that we need to live. And it's killing us. And it's killing us fast. And it's sad because greed and capitalism is the driving force behind it. They just don't give a fuck as long as they make profit and get rich. That's all they care about. They don't care about what they're going to leave behind, for the next generations or the coming generations. They don't care. They're going to just continue to do what they do and live high on the hog while they're here because they know that they're not going to live forever. And then once they're gone, why would they give a fuck? But here's the question I always ask. What if we don't go anywhere when we leave, when we die? What if we're just recycled back into this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? What if? Is that possible? I say it is. Because I personally believe that the mere fact that anything at all exists is proof that anything at all is possible. Where did it all come from? Now, in my feeble human mind, tells me you had to start somewhere. And we look around the universe and we see new stars being born, by the millions, by the billions, maybe by the trillions. We see stars dying out, solar systems dying out and fading away. So we know that it recycles, but is there an end to that recycling period? Is there an end? Is there going to come a time when it can't remake itself anymore? I don't know. But I know that I'll probably be long gone before it happens. Maybe. Because if we're recycled right back into the universe, guess what? We're going to be here. And we're going to be here for whatever disastrous end comes to this universe if we're recycled back into it. I know this shit sounds crazy. A lot of y'all are sitting there thinking, yeah, Ken done lost his fucking mind. But really think about this shit. Think about the fact that we exist. We exist. And man likes to believe that, hey, we were created by, some omnipotent being. But then you have to ask yourself this question. Who created that omnipotent being? Where did that being come from? Everything has to start somewhere, right? The age-old question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? We could say that about humans. Did humans come first, or did our human eggs and sperm come first? You could apply that question to anything. As it stands thus far, though, we haven't found any other place where there's life as we know it. We haven't. And based on science, this solar system's only been around about 4 billion years, but they claim the universe has been around for about 13 billion years. So, is there a possibility that there's been humans before us? In Earth's 4 billion years, has, what came first. But here's another thing. When we were growing up and they were teaching us about dinosaurs, and they're talking about the Jurassic period and the Triassic periods, and back then they were measuring in trillions of years. You know what I'm saying? But wait a minute. Is it trillions or billions? Because trillions is far bigger than billions. So dinosaurs couldn't have been around trillions of years ago. If Earth has only been here for 4 billion years, or I could be wrong. Hold on. Let's look this shit up. And I will ask Google, how old is Earth? And according to Google, Earth is approximately 4.54 billion years old. So there's absolutely no way dinosaurs could have been here a trillion years ago. But that's the shit they used to teach us when we were kids. Now, check this out. How old is Earth according to the Bible? The Bible doesn't state an exact age of Earth. However, by adding up the chronological genealogies and lifespans listed in the text, many traditional and literal interpretations conclude the Earth and the universe are approximately 6,000 years old. And this 6,000 year estimate is achieved by tracing the biblical timeline backwards. The creation to Abraham, adding the ages of generations listed in Genesis 5 and 11, indicates that Abraham lived about 2,000 years after creation. Now, here's the funny thing, Okay, here's what I'll say about you Bible thumpers. If you believe that we've only been around for 6,000 years, why is there archaeological evidence of life and existence here on Earth a few million years ago? 2 million years, actually, they believe that human type species have existed. There are some countries here that have a longer written history than 6,000 years. Yo. Okay. So, what's up? 6,000 years? I think we've been around a bit longer than that. I think so. This is, why I always tell people, question your Bibles, question your religious texts, or maybe y'all just ain't understanding it. When I was growing up, they were saying that a day to God was 1,000 years. But if that's true, then that means, how old is God? It said it took him 6 days. 6 days to create the earth, the heavens and the earth. And on the seventh day rested. So that would be 7,000 years. If we're talking about godly days. Hey, I don't know, man. Y'all put the shit in the comments. Let me know what you think, okay? Because I happen to think otherwise. I happen to think that the biblical text is a little bit tainted. You know what I mean? Just had to check my stream there. But who's to say? I could be wrong. And, so, don't take what I say as gospel. I am not the gospel truth or the gospel expert. But I have questions. I always have questions. Always like to know what's what. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. And there's really not anything, any of us can do about it. We exist. And, I'm grateful, for my existence. Every day I wake up, I'm extremely grateful. And, I don't complain about life. Life is tough, Life is very tough, and we all have to live it, whether we like it or not, so let's just make the best of this shit while we're here. You know what I mean? Right now, we got a lot of problems going on in our politics, and the world's just fucked up. The world's just fucked up. I can't believe that, we're still dealing with this Donald Trump bullshit. One, I couldn't believe that he actually got elected to a second term. And when he did, it was apparent that, we needed to do whatever we needed to do to fight and keep this country on track. Let me see here. Let's see here. By the way, I'm streaming to Facebook tonight too. Facebook and YouTube. I haven't done a multi-stream in over a year now. So, since we got into the new location and got everything set up, properly, I said, you know what, let me go ahead and try. So if you're joining me, thank you. We are, we are doing some big things the rest of this year, I hope. That's the plan. And, we're going to do whatever we can to grow this network. Again, I'm your host, Ken Jackson. This is Coffee with Ken, by the way, the Ken Jackson Experience, presented by Crazy Baby TV World Network. A lot of y'all have seen me over the past, a few years actually, on and off, really, learning my way. I could have gotten like super serious with this years ago, actually, because I actually started Crazy Baby TV 18 years ago. And, it was for the purposes of promoting recording artists that I happened to be producing and managing at the time. And, so it was going to be a platform that I was going to utilize to help, move their careers along. Then one thing led to another. I got sick. I ended up shutting down my business. And then I went on a long hiatus, got involved in some other projects, other businesses, but I always maintained the video portion of my recording business. I got rid of the label and the production side, and just said, you know what, I'll hold on to the video division because I might do something with it later. And so here we are. We're back, Crazy Baby TV World, and this year we're getting serious. I'm back on the mend. My health has improved considerably because I had to make some life changes. Had to definitely make some life changes. Had to get the stress out of my life, and just start walking different and moving different. And it definitely saved my life, I believe. Plus my grandbabies, man. I spend so much time with my grandbabies because they just bring so much life to me. You know what I'm saying? And as tiring as they are, because they have so much more energy than I do, but I feed off of that energy, and I think that's part of the reason I'm still around. Because let me tell you, there was some times these past couple of years that I didn't think I was gonna make it. I really didn't. But my grandkids, they keep that spark alive. I look forward to spending time with them every day, really. Even when I don't want to, or when I tell my daughter, nah, I can't do it. I always, break down and, yeah, bring them on over, or I'll come get them. Because I love them, man. The kids. The kids are our future, man, and they give me the will to continue to live, and I hope you got something in your life that gives you that spirit, to live, because it's such a good feeling. It really is. It really is. And I have some days, especially lately, with this move really wore me out. Because we live on the second floor. My youngest daughter and I, we live on the second floor apartment, and just that one flight of stairs let me know that I was no longer in good shape. It let me know quick, going up and down those stairs. But now we're about a week and a few days in, and you know what? I'm feeling really good. I feel my legs have gotten stronger, and my stamina is I can feel a difference, just in the stair work, and we got 24-hour fitness centers, so I, canceled my gym membership. You know, it's just a, you know, trot across the parking lot now to go work out. And I don't do any leg work in the gym. It's all upper body I'm working on, because all the leg work is done going up and down these stairs, So I feel good. It's a good feeling. Now we just need this heat wave to break. It has been so fucking hot here in South Florida. And I know it's been hot, all over, I know it. We have some ridiculous humidity down here. We did get a good thunderstorm today. Actually, the thunderstorms are back on schedule. When I first came to Florida in '94, you could tell the time by the thunderstorms. Every afternoon around 3, 4 o'clock, they were hitting. And then the climate changed. I mean, it changed a lot, because for, oh man, maybe 20 plus years, those storms weren't coming like they used to, and you could see the change in the environment, but now the storms are back, we're in the middle of the rainy season now, getting ready to go into hurricane season. Storms are like clockwork again every afternoon, the past couple of weeks, and I welcome it, because when the storms hit, the temperature comes down drastically, Now, if it comes too early in the day and it's just a passing storm, then that heat index goes up, man, and that humidity shoots back up, and it's just miserable the rest of the day. But for the most part, it's been pretty cool. We get the thunderstorms, lately around 3, 4:30, something like that, and then into the night. So it cools it off pretty good, overnight. Don't have to run the air conditioner so much at night. So that's a great feeling. But anyway, thank you all, for joining. For everybody that's popped in, I'm about to get over on the TikTok here in a little bit. But I just wanted to jump in here, make sure everything was functioning properly. I don't even have all my gear set up right now. I'm literally streaming with just my iPhone right now, hooked up to my mic, and but we're gonna pull all the gear out, unbox everything, and set the studio back up properly, so that we can start taking phone calls and having live guests, and all that good stuff. So I'm excited. Can't wait to get into these upcoming shows that we have planned. Got some good guests coming. So y'all are definitely gonna want to tune it. Want to tune in and see who might pop in. Getting back to my old self again, and it's a good feeling, and we're gonna keep fighting a good fight, and trying to make sure we can educate some people on how to live better, maybe inspire some people, to get their lives turned around and moving in a productive direction. Because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about inspiring, equipping and empowering people to move forward, shake off all the emotional baggage, and just don't let this bullshit get to you, Get out your feelings. Start to think logically about how you want to move and make a plan and move. And, my big thing this year is, stop being reactionary and be more responsive. All right? So, with that said, I am out. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Catch me over on TikTok at Crazy Baby TV World. That's where I'm headed right now because we got to talk about this political situation, and that's what I use TikTok for. So, let's get at it. I'm your man's Ken Jack. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, check out the website, www.crazybabytvworld.com. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Follow me on Facebook, and definitely follow me on TikTok if you're over there. All right, y'all. Until next time, next Sunday is when I'll be doing this particular broadcast. Every Sunday night around 10 p.m. All right? So until then, I'm your man's Ken Jackson. This has been Coffee with Ken, the Ken Jackson Experience. It's all the same thing. Y'all have a good night. Peace. I'm out.